But like he sold the bowler hat for less than what he bought it off of me for. So it was just one of them ridiculous things. And I was just in a bit of a I was a bit shell shocked.
Good morning.
Morning.
You all right?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Loud.
Is my mic right? Okay. I thought I did it again. I'm on my tablet, you know, so it's a bit iffy.
Okay. I think we're gonna have Night's Life Richard joining too.
Fab.
And potentially Sophie from SB Reselling on.
I'm sorry about last week, by the way.
That's okay.
I was absolutely not. We got back around, I think it was around 1:30 in the end. It was meant to be, we were meant to get back about like 11, like, because it's the coach trip and everything. And we ended up getting stuck coming out of London, and then we had to stop off at like a service station, and we were like, oh, it was hell.
Well, so
and we lost,
did you go
so
and
everyone
see
was in a bad mood.
Did you go and see
we went to the women's FA Cup final at Wembley.
Yeah.
And as I said, we lost, but hey. So we're all in like a bad mood anyway, and then we had to stop. Many times it was like, oh, yeah. And I think I had a bit of sunstroke because I was burnt here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all a bit mad, but yeah.
I think getting out of London on a Sunday night, I've had stories of like trying to get trains back on a Sunday, then you having to catch a coach at a certain train station back to Cambridge, and yeah, it's just a disaster getting out of London on a Sunday night. We had to get on a train to Welling, Garden City, and when we got there, we had to get a coach from there to Cambridge. And when we was all waiting, there's about 2 or 3 coaches all lined up ready to take us all, and the bus driver came out and he said, "Women and children first."
What is this, the Titanic?
Oh, this my friend said that. Is this the bloody Titanic? And it's just like 50 people just roaring and laughing. You just see him sheepishly getting back on his coach again. It's like, come on, dude. We're all needed to get home. What's the point of like women and children getting home first and then the men coming back later? Anyway, so I've got a few things to talk about. I think different to last week. I'm trying to keep it different every week. And also, I didn't notice that when you export the recording of the Zoom call, it actually splits the audio out separately as well. So you get the video and the audio in one file, and then you get the audio in another. So essentially, I could turn these into podcasts if I wanted.
Ah, that's good.
So I'm looking at that. I mean, this is the 3rd one. So if people are game about that, then we could have a weekly podcast going on, essentially.
Yeah, go for it.
Right. How was your weekend sales?
Sales wise, it was actually pretty good. The Thursday, Friday, and Saturday were like insane. And like yesterday, I hit my target and then a little bit on top, so that was good. But the Thursday in particular was like just came out of nowhere. I was like, oh. And then it was really bad because at the weekend when I went to the kilo sale, I was like, oh, should I spend a lot more? That, you know, I was like, oh, I can get more because but I had to regulate myself. Said no, I've got to be good.
So you do have spending? Do you have spending targets as well as? Because for me, I'm like reinvesting everything back in again and taking like 100 quid a week.
Yeah,
which is probably not enough. But I'm trying to grow. I'm trying to get to about 20k on my eBay store.
Yeah. What is that? 20k for your stock take, like
in pounds.
In pounds.
I'm about 18 and a half, I think. But yeah, 1,600 listings I've got so far.
Oh, blimey. It kind of makes you
That's that
busy
like
a
now.
little bit, doesn't it? It's like, oh my God, I've got so much stuff.
I
And
know.
like,
You
and I
definitely
do kind
need
of
a.
like,
Go on.
oh no, I was just going to say, you're definitely like, you know, in terms of like turnover and everything, I do need to kind of start like thinking about stuff that is very sticky and very kind of like, oh, it's not getting much traction. So having to like do different things with, or like bundle stuff up, or, you know, maybe take to the car boot myself and sell. So I do need to kind of like make it fresh and just continually
Did you
keep on top of it.
Did you watch last week's one with Sophie and
I
Sharon?
watched a couple of the clips.
Oh, the short ones that I put together.
Came through.
Okay.
Yeah, they were good.
So essentially, what I found was that I went and sorted my oldest active listings, right? So by start date, and then I changed about 70 odd into auctions as a bulk edit with a 99p start.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just
I think I saw that one. Yeah,
it's gone. I mean, Saturday was 140 quid for a Saturday.
yeah, that's good.
And yesterday was 121. So, and before that, it was like 100 plus again. So I don't know whether periodically going through roll stuff, going, well, it's been here. I mean, this stuff was 2021, right? I've had it for like 2 years. So I just literally just wanted to get rid of it. And ultimately, it's helped boost other things up.
Funnily enough, when I watched your video, I think it was like a couple of days later, I did actually do like a batch of, I think it was like 15, 20 items, and they're all like the value of them were like below £10 anyway, because I'm trying to kind of shift a few.
Yeah.
And I put them up at like 5-day auctions, and I only sold one thing, but it's one thing that sold. And weirdly,
indeed, yeah, absolutely.
Weirdly, it sold at kind of the same price that I was selling it at Buy It Now,
Mm.
because I had it on like, I only knocked like a couple of quid off.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was, yeah. But I do think having to refresh your thing, and I think somebody said, I think I was watching Rally Roots, and they said something, and it was Ryan, and he said to get to use both Buy It Now and have a few auctions on your thing, it might boost the algorithm a little bit, like you're using all the tools at your disposal. And I was like, maybe. So
maybe. I mean, I've seen
in
a
the
difference.
back of my mind.
I've seen a difference.
Yeah.
So
well, it's funny because it ended on the Saturday, this auction, and it just so happens that I did them across all like my store and everything, and it just so happens like the weekend from Thursday to Sunday has been really good.
Yeah, it's just a bit
might have had something to do with it.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, weekends have been good for me anyway. In general, weekends seem to be the where I get like most sales every day.
Yeah.
Good morning, Richard. You're live on Reseller Denz. Do not swear. Can you hear me? No, probably not kicked in yet. He's figuring it out. He's doing something. So
why can't I?
Why can't you hear? I can hear you. You can't hear me. Right, okay. We'll let him get in, see if he can hear it, figure it out. Have you got your mic turned on? Oh no, he can't hear me.
I love technology. It's so funny.
If I mute him, then ask to unmute. Right. So he's not muted. Can you hear me now? Hear me now?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I can't hear you. Don't know what's going on.
Go to your computer settings. You might have something. Volume wise. If I can.
Why is it like that?
I'm just playing with Zoom at the moment. See if we can.
I might have to go out and come back in.
Yeah,
Right.
there's nothing there that really. Yeah, that was fun.
Has he gone out and come back in? Yeah.
Yeah. So one of my questions was, and it fell off the back of Sophie doing quite well on Poshmark, right? So SB reselling. She sold 300 quid over the weekend, right?
Yeah.
So do you think that cross listing is a must in today's reselling game? I don't cross list, right? So I'm just wondering, is it worth doing? Because when I tried it before, I kept selling stuff on eBay and selling stuff on other platforms and having to cancel the one that sold second, if that makes sense. So
Yeah.
for me, it's about keeping track of what you're selling on all platforms.
I cross list, and I cross list on Vinted and Depop, and I do have a Poshmark account, and I have been thinking of actually putting up all my stuff on Poshmark as well. But it's a bit arduous, the Poshmark thing. Like at the moment, for me, it's a bit. So I haven't actually done anything, and it'll be interesting to see, because it was the big launch week, and because everyone had this free credit stuff, it'll be interesting to see when that kind of fizzles out.
Yeah.
When will the general public come in, and how much will actually sell? Like, it's very good putting all this up from work, but now will it work? I don't know. You just never know.
I've seen so many people like share.
There was a lot of people, and it was mainly like resellers as well, like resellers buying off resellers, or like, you know, people who had this code and everything. So I don't know. I think it was a good thing, and I'm really glad that loads of people found it successful the week. But it's like, will it continue going out throughout the year? Will Poshmark be a big thing? You never know.
Yeah, you either want to be early in, and then you kind of either want to be kind of seeing what the water's like, and if it kind of fizzles out, then you don't bother. It's kind of, you want to be, you don't want to be in the middle, join in the middle, then it fizzle out.
Yeah, and it's like, it's a lot of work to put in, because you can only do it. There's no desktop version of it. Okay. Although Tonks, I watched a video by Tonks in Scotland, and they apparently, you can do it on your desktop and then save it, and then go into the app and then launch it through the app.
Right.
A bit like resell it, like the draft section of eBay. It's a bit like that, I think.
Yeah.
So I think you can do certain things on desktop, but it's a bit kind of fiddly. But yeah, in terms of like cross listing as a whole, I have nothing wrong with it. And weirdly, sometimes if eBay's kind of been a bit slow, then Vinted and Depop seem to pick up. It's like, particularly around
one or the other,
the third quarter.
Yeah,
I feel. But I mean, I average about. And I don't really kind of pay much attention to Vinted and Depop. I do put stuff up, but I average probably around £100 a month on each of them. And if I didn't do that, maybe it would have been like, what, £200 less. And I'm like, I can't afford that. I'd rather have it on. So I kind of thought, like, I think I'll continue with it. But I'm a bit scared of Vinted, because when they kick people off, it's like, oh
yeah, you're not allowed to be reseller, are you?
Yeah, which is ridiculous, but
indeed. Can you hear us?
They're French.
I can hear you now.
I
don't know what was going on with that. Yeah, I'm all right.
Yeah.
Tired. On a car boot yesterday, and it was rubbish. Absolutely knackered.
Right. Yeah. No one there, or just the weather?
It was massive. It was massive. With sellers, I don't know why they bothered going, because no one was really spending any money. Usually we go there, like I'll get at least 100 and odd quid. My daughter will get 100 quid.
Yeah.
But like yesterday, I got 25 quid. She got 30 quid. Yeah, really? Pretty pants. Took a load of new stuff. So I don't know. It was strange. Weird day. And everyone that I spoke to that was doing a car boot said they had a slow day yesterday. So
okay.
I've even spoken to people that are at other car boots miles away up north from that, and they said the same thing. They was talking to people that when they were out buying at the car boot, and they were saying that it was really slow. So I don't know what's going on in the world. It's gone mad.
Was it quite warm where you were doing it.
Oh yeah, it was warm. Yeah, so it was loads of people out, but just no one wanted to spend. You know, if I had something and I said, "Oh, it's a fiver," they want to pay 50p. I mean, I know they try and have deals at car boots, but like yesterday, it was just like it was a bit
Did you see
over the top.
Did you see Ricky's Instagram post where he declined Rock made a counter offer of 10 million for the
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
from on a low ball offer. I thought that was quite funny.
exactly. Yeah, yeah, it was quite
Just
good.
reminded me of that. How were your sales over the weekend?
Yeah, I haven't. I've done.
Outside a car boot.
Yeah. Because obviously last week I was doing the driving again. So at the minute I'm doing the driving and eBay. I haven't been listing a lot on eBay, but it seems that last 2 weeks on eBay, it's gone mad. Like things, it's like someone's turned the switch on because I've had like a £300 sale, £250 sale. I've had like 50s and stuff like that. I mean, last week, I think I must have had like a £500 or £600 week. It's a bit bonkers, really. And like before that, just nothing. I've listed a few bits and pieces, but you know, and then my daughter, she's got like enough stock to open up literally open up a antique shop. She's been buying for years and just not selling stuff. So she's got a whole bedroom that's just filled with stuff. And every now and again, she says, "Oh, Dad, I've sorted you some bits out to so you can list on eBay." And last couple of weeks ago, she gave me a box set. It was a Monty Python box set, but it's the big box set. It's got an inflatable parrot in it and a T-shirt and all that and all the DVDs. And she gave me a couple of white noise makers, back rucksack and things like that. The rucksack went for 15, white noise maker for 20, and the box set, because it was sealed, she said, "Oh, I thought it'd only go for like 50, 60 quid. I got 120 for that."
Wow. Okay.
So yeah, so that was quite good. You know, listed a very little listing, but like I say, you know, and there's stuff on there that's been on there for ages that just decided it was going to sell.
Yeah. I was saying,
A bit of
George, the way I've been doing my listings now, it's like all the older stuff I would switch bulkhead it to auction, and that seems to have kicked mine into gear as well. So in the past sort of 10 days, I'd say I've had like £500 days.
Nice.
Which is like on clothing is kind of it's pretty decent. So
yeah. I remember when Dave done I switched to a load of 99p auctions. Yeah, he said he'd never do it again.
Okay. Well, this is stuff that's been around for well over 2 years, so I thought I'd try and just make some space for
it. Oh yeah, why not? Why not?
Do you just talk to George? Do you cross list on other platforms?
I don't know. Okay. No, I've just purely eBay. I've been on eBay since 2003.
Yeah.
It's not that I wouldn't. I've downloaded like Depop, Vinted, and things like that, but I don't do an awful lot of clothing really, so I don't see the need for things like that. I mean, everyone's saying about this new Poshmark and whatnot and stuff like that, but I think I need to get my business at home in gear first before I start thinking about any of that, because most of the time I can't find anything anyway. So it's got a bit mad.
I think the reason why I don't cross list is that I was watching a few resellers in the States, and they basically go, well, why would you spend 10 minutes listing a night on eBay to then spend 5 minutes on Poshmark, 5 minutes on Vinted, 5 minutes on whatnot, whatever, when you can spend that putting 2 other items on that haven't been listed. So essentially, it's about getting the listings on.
I don't really understand the cross listing thing. Zipsale wanted to pay me to do a video, and I said, "Oh, let me have a look at it." And they said, "We'll pay you, do a video for us and stuff."
Yeah,
they wanted to do a collaboration, but like, I don't at the moment because I'm not listing loads anyways. No. I just didn't see that. And in the end, I sort of said, "Well, you've got loads of other people to do videos for you who can do it much better than I can at the minute." So if I'm not using something, I'm not going to do a video on it. I've had loads of people message me about doing stuff, collaborations with jewelry and stuff like that. And I'm thinking, I don't know what channel they're looking at, but they're obviously not looking at mine because I don't.
Is that on Instagram?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
they're
think
all
everyone must get them.
the sunglasses, the jewelries, they're all scams basically. They're all scams.
Yeah, exactly.
I've
But
had
then,
one. Go on.
no. I say that, you know, but like, I've had a couple of legit ones, like proper legit ones. But like I say, you know, I've had one that said, "Oh, if you buy the item, if we'll give you the item free, but you have to pay shipping."
Yeah.
And I said, I've never asked anyone to do, never known anyone to ask to do a collaboration, and they don't just send the item out to you. I said, so I'm not going to start paying out stuff or paying shipping or whatever on stuff I would never ever buy. There's
Yeah,
no point in that.
basically the way that scam works is that they would put an arbitrary price on an item, say a pair of sunglasses. These are £100 sunglasses, and in fact they've just bought them from Alibaba for $2, and then essentially telling you to pay 15 quid for shipping.
Yeah.
And then they basically sell them for the shipping only costs a fiver, and then and they've made
them. Oh yeah, 100% how they're doing it. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I had one about when you scan the barcodes on eBay, they wanted an app where you do that on their app, and they'd give you like where the product is in its listing, for how many times it's sold and stuff like that, and how much it's worth, essentially. But I said, well, we can just do that on eBay. So why
that's like comps, isn't it?
Yeah, it's exactly like comps. And I said, why would someone pay £20 a month for subscription to that app when they can do it for free on eBay and make that choice, make that call anyway? They wouldn't need to. So I didn't bother with that one because it wasn't the right fit.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's got to be something you're going to use. It's got to be something you are knowledgeable about. What's the point in going on there and looking like an idiot because you don't know what you're talking about? You know, if I had thousands of items and you know I was selling them on multiple platforms, then I would use it cross list. You know, once you've done the eBay one, all you have to do is import and export it to the different platforms, and that's it. It's done. You know, I don't know. I've never used one, so I don't know how it works. I know they say that if it sells on one platform, it cancels it on all the others, but I'm sure that doesn't always work.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, there was an issue with zip sale on Vinted.
Yeah,
I'd monitor it myself. Actually, I wouldn't trust platforms to take it off. I'd have to do it myself.
Yeah,
and when
there's no point because by the time you're doing all that and looking on all the other platforms to see if it's still on there and to end it on the other platforms,
you could have listed other stuff.
Because you're using up more time. Yeah, you could be listing other stuff. Yeah.
Well, I've got 22 items to send out today.
Oh, nice.
And that would mean I'd have to go on Vinted, cancel those 22, go on Poshmark.
And that's the thing, not being funny. Yeah, if you're selling on 4 or 5 platforms, that's 88 to 110 items. You've got, 88 items. You've got to go cancel other ones.
Yeah, exactly.
That's taking up hours. In those hours, you could have listed a load more stuff. Well, I just don't see the point. It's going to be problems like that.
I agree.
They're using these apps to save time, but when it's not cancelling, like I say, it's costing you time. So I don't know.
I mean, if I was to cross list, it would only be on one other platform, so then I could manage it a bit better.
Yeah.
Definitely. I've got a question, and it's a bit left field, if that makes sense, because it's not what we've been talking about. Have you had any returns that you've been dubious about that they've sent the right item back? And how did you deal with it, if you had?
I don't think I've ever had the wrong item sent back. Yeah, I don't think I've ever had that. I know there's people who was it? Someone bought something or had something returned. They sent something out and they got a lolly stick back.
Oh, that was James at Bowl. Was it James at Bowl Vines?
Oh, it might have been, yeah.
Yeah, he ordered a GameCube, didn't he?
That was it. Yeah, I thought it was a return. No, I've never
lolly stick.
I've had stuff. Yeah, lolly stick. Literally, that's what was in there. But I've had I've had someone say that. I mean, I check everything before I send it out. I'm OCD about it. Like if I'm sending a game or a DVD, even though I've checked it before I've listed it, I'll check it again just to make sure there's no scratch on, just to double check before I
Yeah.
send it. So I had someone say that they had a computer game turned up that they had bought and there was no disc in there. So I said, well, send the case back then. I'll take it back to the post office and get them to reweigh it because it's got the weight on the receipt that I've already sent to you. I said, so I'll get that package, the same envelope, take it back, get it weighed again, and we'll see if there's any difference. If it's a different weight, then obviously the disc was in there. I said, like, because I know for a fact it was in there.
Yeah.
And they started going off on one, and I just couldn't be bothered. I just thought I just can't be asked. But yeah, I mean. Yeah, I've never had anything wrong.
99.99% of people are pretty honest, aren't they? On sending stuff.
Yeah, and if I've ever sent anything out like electrical or something, which is easy to switch out, then I've always obviously put a photograph in of the serial number and stuff. So
yeah, that's good. It's good tip that is. Yeah, I've had one where they returned it saying that it had a cut in it, a split in it. Do you remember? Like one of the, I think it was a Matthew McConaughey t-shirt. And and I'm pretty sure he cut that open and then ripped the rest of it before he sent it off. Because there was straight edge cuts in that thing, but at the end of the day, it was like 10 quid. And do you want to argue it? Really?
Yeah.
And I dealt with it just by going, do you know what? You probably did cut it, but I can't prove it. So
yeah, and that's the thing. Oh no, actually, another thing. I sent a wooden mask, tribal mask. I think it went for about 70 or 80 quid if I remember rightly. It had like real horse teeth in it, and it was a nice thing, like a proper tribal thing. And they said, "Oh, it's arrived damaged." And I went, "Well, can you send me photos?" They went, "I can't send photos because I've got no camera on my phone, or camera's broken on my phone." I said, "Well, can't you borrow someone else's phone to take the photos to send me so that I can see how it's got broken so I can do the claim?" And they said, "Oh, yeah, there's no one. I don't really know many people, and like all this, that, and the other."
Yeah,
and
sounds dodgy already.
I said, send it back then, because like just send it back. And they went, oh, or like you can just do a little refund. And I thought, well, I paid like 5 or 10 quid for it. Like it's sold for a lot of money. I said, oh, all right, I'll send you 20 quid for it. I just to have done with it, just because I couldn't be bothered.
Yeah.
And obviously it was a scam, but I just thought I'm still in pocket.
Yeah,
They're just being I'll just refund the bit of money and put them on the block list, and that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
It was just less hassle than waiting for all the crap and then not getting the item back. I've had one recently, actually. I've just shut it down. A guy, I sold him a Harrods bowler hat for 20 quid. He bought it for 20 quid on eBay. And he opened a claim, said, he said it doesn't fit description or photographs.
Yeah,
it's exactly the same photographs that I used. All the details were in it, including the size was in the band of the hat. So everything I did in the listing was correct. He said it didn't fit him when it turned up.
did he measure his own head?
Well, that's the thing. He's going, oh, it must be different size. Harrods must be different sizes or something like that. And I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. So I want to return it. I said, yeah, okay, send it back. Anyway, I waited 3 or 4 weeks. It was a couple of days before it was due to come back. The last day, a couple of days before the last day before the case will get closed. And I thought I'll just have a look, see how it's going. So I looked on the details of the case, and it still said dispatched. It said ticket raised and dispatched, but like obviously it hadn't gone anywhere in weeks. So I thought I'll have a look on his eBay quick and see what he's playing at and try and contact him. Anyway, there's my bowler hat for sale on his, which he's had on there for over a week, right? But not only that, the real Mickey take was he used my photos. It nicked
really?
my photos. Yeah.
Wow.
So straight onto eBay. I said, look, this guy's opened this case. I've waited weeks. My 25 quid's been on hold for like 3 or 4 weeks now.
Yeah.
I said, so I was going to contact you tomorrow and ask you to shut the case down because I haven't received it back. I said, but I've just looked on the guy's eBay and he's got it for sale on his eBay. But not only that, there must be some copyright thing because he's using my exact photos of the head with the Harrods thing in my house. I said, so
What
eBay,
a cheeky bastard.
yeah, so the eBay guy reported it and put a strike against him. He said, also, you do it. So I put an eBay thing in and done a strike against him.
Yeah.
But like he sold the bowler hat for less than what he bought it off of me for. So it was just one of them ridiculous things. And I was just in a bit of I was a bit shell shocked to see my listing on his eBay. Like, and he's got this case opened against me, and yet he's got the item for sale on his eBay. I just thought
So he's just screenshotted your pictures, isn't he? Basically,
literally downloaded my pictures or saved my pictures or whatever he's done to it, and used exactly the same 5 photos that I'd used for my listing.
Cheeky fucker.
Exactly the ones. I think even the wording in the thing was exactly the same. He just nicked the whole listing.
Have you had any, George?
Oh yeah, I've had a few. Like, over the years, you pick up some corkers, but I've had the usual, like you say, most people who return stuff are like quite honest. They say, "Oh, it doesn't fit," and the open doesn't fit in the reason for return. And it's like, yeah, no problem, I'll refund you straight away. You do get the odd people who say items not as described, and then they put in and say, "Oh, this had a small mark on the cuff," and it's like, of course you get it back, and the shirt doesn't have a mark on the cuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Or like this toy's broken, and it's like comes back absolutely fine. It's just so that they can open up and get a return straight away
without paying postage.
Yeah, that's
exactly.
right.
And they can they make the the invoice you, don't they, eBay, for the postage, so they don't have to pay anything. It's like cheeky bastards. Yeah. So I've got one at the moment that I've actually got the return here. I put everything in the description, like all whatever defects are in there and everything, and they've said, they basically, for reason for return, they put in, oh, I don't, what was it? It was something like, it was too dirty, I don't want to wash it. And I was like, well, I'll put it in the description that it had like a mark on where the buttons close up. There was like a little, like a bleach mark there. And that was all that was wrong with it. It's covered up when you put your buttons together and everything, it covers it up. And I put that in the listing. I put 2 different pictures right next to each other, and they were like, they mentioned that in the reason for return, and I was just like, right, okay, bias it. And it's like they wait until the last minute to send it, and I got it like 3 or 4 days ago, and I've not refunded them yet. I'm going to wait until they get arsey and refund.
Absolutely,
just to be a little bit petty.
Yeah.
But I've had a few things. There was one with some plates. I remember there was some just normal like square plates, and I had some dinner plates and some salad plates, and I put a tape measure. This is why you should put a picture with a tape measure in it, in your pictures, because they said, oh, I'm not as described, they're not the right plates. I've got picture in the what's it? Oh, I didn't see the picture. It's like, no, because now that you've realised that you've made a boo-boo.
Yeah, exactly.
I hate it when people do that and they say, oh, can you send me a photo of pit to pit, or tell me the size pit to pit and top to bottom? And you go, well, if you look at pictures 11 and 12, you'll see that it's there, picture with tape measure, and you'll see it on there. It's like, I don't even look.
This woman, she was trying to make out that I'd lied in the list and everything. It's like, she actually put, you've lied. It's not. These aren't dinner plates. I was like, well, no, they're salad plates. I put in the listing small salad plates, and then I put in the description the size, and I put what's it? It's like, oh, well, I didn't see that. And I said, right. I said, don't worry. I was. This was a couple of years ago. I said, no, you can send me them. You can send me them back. I'll give you a return. I'll give you a refund. No problem. And she was like, well, I can't send them back. And I was like, well, why? It's like, because I'm disabled, I can't get to the post office. I was like, okay, well,
I've
the
had that
post
one
office can
before.
come at,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly like, oh, my child bought this on my really, really.
They went through
Well,
all
so
the
I said
steps
to
and know how to do it. Yeah.
yeah, they've been through all the to try and frustrate the process, and I was like, well, Royal Mail. It was at the time when Royal Mail could pick up. They still do now. So they pick up from your house if you want to send something off, and I think every do it as well. And I said, Royal Mail, they can pick up and from your house if you have difficulty. And she was like, and then she went off. I don't need to do this. I was like, well, no, it's your fault. You've read the
Yeah,
listing
exactly.
right now. You don't like the item, so soz. And then she said, oh, well, can you just give me a partial, that kind of thing? And I said, well, no, because I've done nothing wrong. So you even send them back or you keep them. And then she just
on a message lately, it was going back like 7 or 8 messages. I can't think what the whole thing was, but at the end of the day, I went, right, I think you've got 2 choices. You either send it back for a refund or you keep it. End of conversation. And he went, I'll send it back. I was like, there you go. Right. Stop moaning about it. Just here's your choices. And I do that with my 4-year-old.
It's funny though, you always have issues with stuff that's like low value. I had a top which I put, it was a phase 8 top, it was a really nice silk blouse, and I put in the listing like it's just starting, like under the pit there in the armpit there, it's literally just starting to fray, and it's got like just a little bit of like wear there, you can tell. And I put a picture in the listing, I put it in the description, and she basically came back to me and said like, oh, it's XYZ, and I was like, I know, I put it, and she says it's unwearable, and I was like, well, no, it's not, because you're not going like that, you're not walking around like that, like, when you and I said to, and it was, you know what, I could have put it up for like, usually they go around about 15-20, and I put it up for like $7.99, and just to get rid of all this stuff, $7.99 fine. And it went full asking within like a day, because it's silk phase 8 and everything. And I thought, you got it for dirt cheap. Anyway, I just thought, I said no problem, I'll refund you, and I just refund you because I can't be bothered now.
Well, especially with the low value one.
Yeah,
just get it moving on, get it out the door.
Exactly.
I sent bloke bought a film prop spear from the mummy from me, and it's in a massive tube. There's no way it's getting lost. There's no way this thing's getting lost. Correct address put on there and everything. And he's messaged me and said, hi, just a bit concerned as this still hasn't turned up. So I thought, really? So I got in touch with, I think it's Parcels, had all the photos and all that. I said, look, it's been delivered to this house here. I sent him a photo with a red front door. I said, I've spoken to Parcel Force. They've given me the exact coordinates of your flat. The exact coordinates. It's been signed by someone else. And I said to him, look, not being funny, I said, anyone can sign any signature. I can sign blooming Daisy Duke if I wanted to, like when it turns up. Do you know what I mean? It does. I don't have to sign my own name. The postman or that ain't going to know what my name is. I said, but not being funny, I've got the exact coordinates of where this has been delivered, and it's your address. So he was going, no, and he done a claim against me, and I contacted them. And I said, I contacted eBay. I said, look, I said, I've got the photograph. I said, I've got the exact coordinates. Blah, blah, this. He went, yeah, I'm going to shut it down in your favour. So I thought, fantastic. Anyway, within a couple of days, I'm like looking on my payments, and it says 150 odd pound negative. I think, what's going on there? So I'm looking, and then I've got a message saying the decision's been overturned in favour of the buyer. So I'm thinking, right, so he's got the spear. Now they've given him the money. So I got straight onto him. I said, look, this is taking the mick. Like, I've given you everything. This guy's obviously phoned up and had a little moan, and you're falling for his rubbish and all that. So it's been overturned. I said, but look, there's the coordinates. You've got the photographs. You've got all this stuff saying the coordinates to his exact flat, and it's been overturned in his favour. How is that possible? So now he's got the spear and he's been refunded. So anyway, this guy went, right, he said, I can see that. He said, whoever's overturned it is just ridiculous. He said, I'm going to overturn it for the final time in your favour, and there'll be no going back. So this bloke must have been fuming when he seen it been overturned again, because they can only do that twice and then there's no more to it. So I thought, after that, I thought I was safe. I've been expecting him to go back to his bank then and say, look, this is a fraudulent thing or something, you know, try and blag it that way and get his payment back for his credit card. But like, that was it. That was the end of it. So I just blocked him. I said, you're an idiot. You're a scammer. Like, and that was it. That was literally it. I got me 150 quid back. He didn't win because he never scammed me out of 150 quid. And yeah, but that was a weird one where he was trying to tell me it hadn't turned up. I mean, this thing was about 6 odd foot tall in this thick cardboard tube, which weighed a ton. There was no way it was getting lost, trying to tell me that he didn't have it. And like I say, that's the good thing about having the tracking, having the photos, having, you know, a company that you can phone up and they will give you the exact coordinates to that property.
Yeah, exactly.
Just safeguard.
Good morning.
You all right, Soph?
Morning, Sophie.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I've got to jump on for a little bit. I might move around a bit because I'm kind of getting ready for work as well.
Were you not
I've
laying
got to
down
jump
this time?
No, I'm not lying down, and I don't have pajamas on. So
Are you sure about that?
yeah, it looks like pajamas, doesn't it? But
Thanks for
no,
jumping
I
on.
don't have pajamas on, and I am vertical.
So you've done quite well over the weekend with Poshmark, didn't you?
I have since launch day. Yeah, it was really crazy. Like, the minute I got my, you know, so I could actually like invite people, I started just inviting people, and I think every man and his dog did as well.
Yeah, Instagram was full of it. Yeah.
And then on the Wednesday, which was like the actual like launch day or kind of soft launch day, whatever they were doing.
Yeah.
I think I did 220 quid that day.
Oh,
Nice.
Which I was like, what the chuff is going on? Like, I think everyone was just going mental with like their free £20 and were just like buying everything, which obviously I was like, fine.
Yeah.
But since then I've had around kind of 4 sales a day as well. So I've still got about another 150, 160 odd to come as well, which I'm going to send. I've got the bag. I've got to go to the delivery office before work and drop that off. But the annoying thing about it is when they buy, they can only, like, Poshmark kind of just does it all in like automatically. With Royal Mail, there's no other like shipping carrier or anything.
Oh, really?
But they always put it as like home collection. So I'm never in. Although actually he's just been, I just got out the shower and I was like trying to like put my clothes on. You know, when someone knocks at the door and you're like, so I went down and spoke to him. But the thing is also, because I waited in the first time, he didn't bring all the shipping labels. So I think there's like some kind of cut-off time, which then means you've got to wait till like the next day for the rest of your shipping labels.
Right, so they give you the shipping labels?
Yeah, so they come round with the shipping labels, but they take the parcels from you as well.
So if you've got 15 parcels to give them, you presumably you have to label each parcel so they know which one to put on?
Yeah, because obviously that first day I had bloody loads.
Yeah.
And I was off the next day, so I thought, right, I'll try out this whole home collection thing. But because I'd sold like, I think it was like 4 before the midnight, and then all the rest came in the day on the Wednesday. But he only brought 2 labels with him for the 4 parcels. And then again today he only bought 6 when I've got like 12.
So those labels, do they have the person's address on them?
Yeah, they're like it's a
Wow.
shipping label basically.
So essentially, Royal Mail are doing your job for you.
Yeah,
That's good.
but they don't
Not for Royal
bring.
Mail, not for the person.
Yeah, but they don't bring all the labels with them. So I started just print them out myself because then I can get everything off in one go. Otherwise, I'd have to stay in like every single day waiting for the next lot of labels and the next lot of labels. And then
Yeah, you're better
my
off doing it
shipping
yourself.
time would then go to say 2 or 3 days instead because I haven't had the label like given to me. But I also can't take off the home collection thing. Like it's just on there. Like it's like an automatic thing when they buy. So
Did you do those as fresh listings, or did you use a cross stuff?
some are fresh. What I did was I screenshotted loads of my eBay listings. So I joined the waiting list. So I was on it before it launched. For maybe like a couple of months. And what I was doing was I was screenshotting my eBay listings and the pictures and then copy and pasting the titles. And then I was just gradually like building my shop before it launched and just getting used to it and just like, sharing those things and blah. And then whenever I got like fresh stuff as well, I put that on it too, as well as, my eBay and my vintage, just put it on there too. And then when it launched, I had like some followers and some shares and blah. So it looked like I'd been on there for a little while when obviously I hadn't really.
Yeah.
And I also had like I had about 60 items on there ready for launch, basically. But I don't necessarily think the fact that I was on there before, I don't think really that's what contributed to the sales. I think it's actually just the free credit. That was what contributed to it.
That makes absolute sense.
I don't think it was the fact that I joined the waiting list and got on there before, because so many other people did as well, and everyone could after like a while. Like anyone could have joined that waiting list and got on there. So I didn't do anything special. I wasn't selected for it or whatever. But yeah, I think that's the only thing that made the difference was the free credit. And
so you got 20 quid and the other person got 20 quid.
Yeah, but I thought I got to withdraw that money, but you don't. You have to spend it on Poshmark. So I've got
there's the kicker.
So I've got like £100 has come through, and I've still got about another 180 or so to come through. Nice. So I have like nearly £300 to spend on Poshmark.
Wow,
that's
okay.
That's nice.
But
replenish your stock, can't you?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think that's why I bought me and Kate a couple of things off there. But I'm gonna just look around and see what I can get, and obviously try and like resell it or whatever with it. But the key to it though is just share like go to like everyone's wardrobes and share like 5 to 10 items out of it. Go to the next one, share 5 to 10 items. Go to the next one, the next one, because then all these people then that I've woken up with like 200 notifications this morning, because all these people have then gone back and shared all mine. And then that's how your items get seen, basically.
Right, okay.
So that's the key to it. Just like before I go to bed each night, I just spend literally like a couple of hours just sharing like 5 to 10 items out of like 10, 15 different wardrobes or whatever.
Yeah.
And then when I wake up in the morning, they've all done the same back to me. And then, because that's how your listings get seen. It's by sharing. It's like a domino effect kind of thing.
Or a pyramid scheme.
Yeah.
No, I don't know quite about that, but yeah.
Well, that's good that you had some sales though. Definitely helped you out, right?
Yeah, good, especially
because that's all going to go in my travel pot.
Yeah.
So it does help me out. And what was I going to say? Oh, and all my auctions end in a few hours as well, because I swapped loads of things onto auction, didn't I?
Yes,
wasn't
from
selling.
last week. Yeah, so I don't think you was on the call earlier when I told George, but basically how I've got more sales was that I basically done a bulk edit of my oldest items and changed them to 99p auction of about 75 to 100 of them. And then like 2 or 3 days later, you're getting sales from other stuff that I wouldn't, well, it's basically, I would have like 50 to 70 pound days. And then like 2 or 3 days after that, it's like £100, £100 days. And I think by changing them to auction, you kind of make your store visible to other people. Because people, oh, that's only 99p. Let's look to see what else they've got, type thing. And yeah, I've had a good couple of days over the weekend because I changed some to auction again on a Thursday.
Oh yeah.
So I think I might do that every Thursday and just go back like how the oldest ones are, maybe to pick 10 items, 10 or 20 items, and just change them to auction to shift them. And if you don't sell them, you can put them back to the original price and it becomes a new listing then, essentially.
Yeah.
So we were talking eBay tactics last week, and that was one of them.
It's definitely it helped me because I got once I swapped them all to auction, I think it was either that day or like the next day, I had like 3 sales on my other buy it now stuff. And I've had like, a few sales like, over the weekend as well. But also yesterday this happened to me, right? So I sold some motorbike trousers.
Yeah.
But the buyer was in Bosnia. And Bosnia isn't on the global shipping program. It's not an eligible country. And I couldn't work out why it wasn't working. So he kept sending me these screenshots of why he couldn't pay, and it said
I
about
had one the other day from Bosnia.
Did you? Could you send it?
No, because he wouldn't accept the fact that it was like 20 quid to send it tracked.
Yeah.
And that was what I was talking about. You've got 2 choices. I think you either buy it or you either, yeah. I've used that a few times.
He did seem quite genuine, actually, and he did seem like he did really want them. He was sending me the screenshots, and he said, "Please, can you amend the postage for me?" and blah blah blah. But it all seemed like a faff, and also I didn't really want to send off the GSP because I just feel a bit more protected if I do it through the global shipping program rather than myself.
Yeah, I remember now. He didn't, because eBay are in the UK and they charge a VAT on the postage or the order, right? And he didn't want to pay, like, I think it was about 5 or 6 quid VAT.
Yeah.
Well, he's in Bosnia, right? And that law states that VAT should only be applied on where the service or product is enjoyed, right? So essentially, because he's in Bosnia, he shouldn't be paying any VAT for it.
Right.
So he basically went, "It's not worth it now." He's pushed it over my budget, really.
Yeah. Would you have had to have got a customs label to put in that as well, like yourself? Because that's what eBay do for you, isn't it?
Yeah, so you would have done. Yeah, so essentially.
I wouldn't have known to do that either.
Yeah, I've got a video on my it's probably my most viewed video on YouTube about UPS.
You have, haven't you? Yeah.
Yeah.
You have actually.
Sending stuff outside of the UK. Yeah, so I think if you do it, because I did it from Parcels to Go, that's where I got the quote from. International Tracks, they put a customs label on the front, and you probably would have had to put an invoice with it on the inside.
Yeah. Oh, it's too much faffing about for me.
Well, you can just print off the invoice from eBay, can't you?
Well, yeah, but it's just too much faffing.
Okay. We'll leave it there then. Are you
I just feel safer doing it through the GSP as well.
Yeah, it's a lot safer.
Definitely a lot safer. I've got to tell you this other thing.
What thing?
I don't really want to. I don't really want to like bang on about Poshmark too much, but it's something that I really like, and also I'm like low on time, so I'm just like blah 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 in it at you
That's
right
fine.
now.
That's fine. Makes good content.
So, the thing I like about Poshmark is that when someone buys from you, it takes the funds out of their account instantly. There's no waiting to pay, nothing like that. And if they don't have the funds, you get a notification saying this person does not have the funds in their account. They've been prompted to put the money in.
Right. Okay.
So, like, instantly, if you sell, instantly they haven't got the money. Like, instantly. And 9 times out of 10, they do actually top up their account and buy it from you because they've been told to. Yeah. But there's no, like, you don't send out payment reminders. So it's an instant thing. Like, as soon as they click buy, they've bought it. Yeah. That's it. There's no, like, wait for someone to accept this offer, wait for payment, blah. Like, it's quick. And the money, when you withdraw it, it's 1 to 3 business days it comes into your account.
Right. Okay.
So it's not bad, really.
It's not bad at all.
I'm just gonna check. You can't see my screen, can you?
No.
Oh, good. Because I was about to just go into my bag and just see whether it's there yet or not.
Would you say that the?
Blimey, how much money you got in there?
That's your holiday paid for.
Yeah.
No, it hasn't hit there yet. No,
not like waiting for an every refund, like 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah.
Would you say that the
like that.
bad side of, not bad side, but the downside of Poshmark is that they pick it up?
Yeah, that's because I can't find a way to change that yet. There could be, someone might know about it, but I can't find it. And that's the annoying thing. And also that there's no other shipping carrier option.
Yeah.
Because I send everything with every usually. But it does all go track 48.
Yeah.
Oh, bloody hell. It does all go like tracked 48 though, which isn't bad.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I suppose I'll need to get onto Poshmark really, but I don't really fancy cross-listing, if I'm honest.
Yeah. I mean, I do it because I don't really like mind it too much.
Oh no, I got to put that's my death pile at the moment. That lot. There's probably about 50 items. That I wouldn't say that's a death pile. I'll pick that up on Friday, so that's not really a death pile, is it?
No.
That's just work.
Stuff to do. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's all my questions. The other one I had was a bit like off the top of my head, but it's a bit. Probably we could talk about it for a little bit. How many hours do you all spend reselling?
Me, not many.
Well, I suppose I do what I can before I go to work because I'm sat here.
Yeah.
And after work, it will be all packing everything that I might have sold in the day and then doing, whatever. I'd say like on my working days, I'd probably spend like maybe an hour before work, then about 3 hours after work. And then on my days off, I'll do it literally all day.
Yeah.
So, and I work maybe 3 or 4 days a week. So what's 4 times 4, Denz?
16.
16. So that's 16 hours. And then on my full days, I'll probably do about like 8. On my days off, I do about like 8 or 9, to be fair. So I do put in like a fair whack into it, really.
Nice shift.
Yeah.
How about you, George?
I think it's because like there's so many different components to like reselling. You've got to go sourcing, then you've got to do like maybe washing and ironing or whatever, and then you've got to do picturing and listing. And then when you like WhatsApp watching a movie, you're like on your phone sometimes, or like if you're on the bus or whatever, you just catch a few seconds on your phone or answering a question. There's loads of like different bits and
Yeah.
pieces to it. So it does, if you add it all up, I suppose it does come out as a full-time kind of like job.
Yeah.
And it's probably a bit more than more some, but like, I don't know, because I think we all enjoy the most of the aspects of reselling. I think we all kind of like enjoy it. So it doesn't feel like a full-time job or even a part-time job. It doesn't feel like it. It doesn't feel like a hustle. You know, people like say, "Oh, you got a hustle," and it's like, yeah, but it doesn't feel like it at all. It's like if I go out shopping, I love to shop. I'm out like 6 hours like every other day or whatever, and it's like it doesn't feel like it. And plus, I'm doing other things at the same time. So no, I don't know. I think I probably do about full-time hours. There's some weeks where, I mean, that's the great thing. It's flexibility. I do about 20 hours a week, or I could do like 40 hours a week. That's the brilliant thing. And it's always fluctuating between the two. I think between 20 and 40 is like whatever, you know, like Sundays, it's always, next to nothing other than carbooing.
How about you, Richard?
Yeah, not a lot of time listing. You know, I do list a few bits, but I spend more time looking on Facebook Marketplace throughout the day. Like maybe check that sort of 7-8 times during the day, every day, and you know, just before I go to bed and all that, just checking, see if there's any bargains on there. At the minute, probably I do go in charity shops. It's just I don't see anything I like, so I don't buy it. So I mean, all the actual reselling stuff, probably sort of still 15 to 20 hours just searching for stuff and looking, and you know, like you say, when something does sell and you're sticking it on eBay and just looking around for stock, really. Even if you don't buy it, you're still you know, working. So probably 15, 20 hours.
Cool. For me, I'm doing it around the bookkeeping stuff, so that's probably I'll spend about 20 to 30 hours a month on bookkeeping at the moment, and the rest of it is the reselling. So essentially, I have a schedule. I don't stick to the schedule. I've written it down. Like today at the moment, I should be doing a weekly sales video, but I suppose I am because I'm on with you guys. But but with Jack and Laura now working, essentially I'm drop off and collection from school, and he's only on half days on a Monday until after the term starts again. So after this call in about an hour and a quarter, I've got to pick him up. So essentially Mondays are a write-off, really, other than this phone call. This is the only bit of reselling. Yeah, exactly. Daddy day.
Yeah.
So but the rest of the week is essentially okay because it's like 9 till 3:30 or whatever. But if you talk to someone and they're like doing a 9 till 5, essentially they can't do that daddy pickup, which is every family is different, right? But I mean, last night I was picking the orders from the weekend at 8 o'clock last night. So you never switch off, do you? You never switch off.
Yeah, that's what my wife says. She said you've got to do all your reselling stuff during the week because you're doing it at weekends as well. Plus, you've got to clean the house. Plus, you know, all the other stuff we've got to do, shopping, and actually try and go and do something together and spend a bit of time together. She said, but you're constantly like looking on. You're either doing your YouTube or you're doing like eBay or stuff like that. She said you don't stop.
No.
So
no. And I'm guilty of that too. I mean, because if I look at my eBay app and there's like offers that I can send out, I'll do them there and then because I want it to be fresh in the mind, right? You don't want to leave it 24 hours and they go, oh, I've bought something already. But yeah.
See, but I do that and I look at them and I think, oh yeah, I send out these offers, but if it's like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning,
no, I'm asleep at that point.
I don't really want people to be annoying people and pinging their phones at 1, 2 in the morning, you know?
No, exactly. My phone stays down in the living room.
Oh no, I always take everything upstairs. Since we got burgled a couple of years ago, 10 days before Christmas, like now I take wallet up, phones up, take everything, car keys even take the car keys up. If someone gets in the house, they're not getting none of that then.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Did that ever get resolved? Did they catch it or not?
No, I never caught the person. I mean, I would say lucky enough. It wasn't lucky enough. You know, the dogs, if there's a fly hitting against the window or they see something catch their eye outside, like they go mental and they will go mental for like if a postman knocks a door, you think like I've got like 20 rabid like wolves in my house. But when someone like gets in the house and burgles, they slept through it.
Really?
They slept through it. Yeah, never, not a peep. We all slept through it. It was only because we woke up the next morning and noticed the back door was open and my wife's handbag had gone. And that the thing was, I mean, it was something like it cost because they took her fob key. The other one was broken, so they took her fob key. So to get a couple of fob keys was it was over £1,000.
Wow.
Plus, she had to like, try and get everything back from her purse and all that. It's cards and everything. So it was an absolute nightmare. They never, you know, it's one of them like they're saying, "Oh, it's just a chancer." Well, yeah, but like you know, you still got to go and catch them.
Yeah.
I said to him, if I find out who it is and I catch up with them first, God help them. I said, but like,
Yeah.
I know really waiting for the police to do things like that is just a lost cause, really.
Yeah,
You know?
it'd be long gone, wouldn't they?
Yeah, but yeah, that was 10 days before Christmas a couple of years back, so that was good. But I say the dogs were pretty much useless then. But say any other time, they don't shut up.
I nearly got there was, when I wasn't living here. I was living at my previous address, and I was sat in my kitchen at the time, and I had used to do like the odd bit of eBay. Was when I was working full time, but I had like a day off the next day, so I thought, right, I'll just do like a little bit of eBay and everything. So I was just sat up doing some listing, and it must have been about 2 o'clock, and I had like a movie on and everything. And I was doing it, and the light was on in the kitchen. So, yeah, and the door, it's got like a frosted glass bit, and so you can't when you look into through the door, you can't actually see me because I'm like a little bit in like an alcove.
Yeah.
But like I was just faffing about doing my eBay. Anyway, some chancer came up to the door and was like messing about Jimmy in the handle, like because it's like a ginnel. It's like a pathway and then like a ginnel with all these terrace houses. And I had my big wheelie bin like outside, and he came up and he was wearing like a hoodie. I could see him clear as day, but I was sat right there, and he was like right there, and I went against the door, and he screamed and fell over, and he did one. And I was just like, yeah, fucking bastard. So I don't think he ever came back, but I did call the police. But like they said, you probably did the best thing of just scaring the shit out of him.
Yeah. So I'm not coming back to that neighbourhood again.
Pretty much, yeah. And it was funny. But after that, because I've never experienced that, it's kind of like, oh, it was a bit kind of like on edge. I was a bit on edge, but yeah. Other than that, yeah, I've never had anyone break in. Luckily.
Yeah, I think we're on the right side of Cambridge. I think for that we haven't really had any trouble around here. Anywhere south side of the river is pretty good.
Yeah, we got a problem with cars around here. My car, someone's tried to break into, but luckily, like the houses seem to be all right. I've never been in a house that's been broken into, thank God, because I think I'd have to move. I'd never feel safe in there again.
Well, this is it. Once it's done, you kind of I'd probably be the same.
Yeah, my wife she said she didn't feel like staying here, but you know, I just said to her, we'll just stay here and hopefully they'll come back. I was just
Yeah. Have you got like a Ring doorbell and like cameras up and stuff?
No.
I love those Ring doorbells that you see on TikTok and Instagram Reels, like when they capture things.
Yeah.
They're so good.
UPS delivery drivers and stuff like that in America.
Yeah, there was a British one, and these two lads were like trying to get into the house, and they were absolutely wasted after a night out. And obviously, the Ring doorbell catches motion, so it caught them like Like literally, he's trying to put the key in the lock, and he gets it in, and his mate's like wasted, and they're trying to give me the key, and she's like, and he's like, and he looks around, and he's like, oh, it's not my house. It's so good.
There's
Mate,
one.
I think his mate falls in a bush. It's brilliant.
Yeah, I've seen the one where it's like it's 3 men turn up, they're wasted, and they're trying to. They get to their house. It's their house, and he pulls out the key, and it's a pizza cutter. And the guy goes, "Why have you got a pizza cutter?" And they just fall over in fits of laughter. Yeah, just why have you got a pizza cutter? Random shit like that, isn't it?
Yeah, there is a scary one of this woman that was followed by a fella, and she just made it into a house, and he was there, and he pulls out a gun. Like, this is the
Oh my
opposite. It's
God.
in America, and he's like that, and he's thinking about it, and he just kind of like looks at the door, and then just kind of wanders off. But like, she made it within like a few seconds of him getting to a door. I was like, and it's on the ring. It's on the ring thing. So I was like, oh. So now I'm like tempted. Oh, should I just get one? Because you never know.
Yeah.
I'll just have like foxes and old people around here.
Yeah.
Just nothing exciting.
Ours at golf all the time is selling flowers out the front of our garden. Laura, we've got a greenhouse, so Laura just basically plants thousands of different types of flowers, and yeah, so be constantly going off. We got some in it, bit money through the door. Cool. I think we're going to pretty much close it up soon. Has anybody else got any things I want to talk about? Questions?
No, I'm putting my shoes on for work now, unfortunately.
Is it a long one, Sophie?
No, just till 7:45.
That's a long one for me. The 7:45.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a short one.
Yeah. Oh, is it? Are you starting at 11:45?
No, I started 11:45, but I'm in
That's in 5
Gloucester.
minutes. Sorry.
So like, I live in Cheltenham, but I work mostly in Gloucester.
Yeah.
So I have to I have to sort of leave like an hour before, because it takes me about half an hour to get to Gloucester. That's fine. But then there's never any parking. So I have to allow myself at least half an hour to try and find a space. Which is like really annoying. And then I quite often end up late onto the floor because I'm still bloody like circling the work car park trying to get a space. And what they used to do, it used to be like visitors and stuff was on the ground floor, and then level 2, 3, 4 was for staff. But because it's a privatized firm, like it's run by Saba, and they get more money out of the visitors parking than they do the staff. So they let all the visitors go just park it like everywhere in all like the staff car park, because they can get like £10 a day out of them, rather than me, they can only get £1.60 a day out of. Yeah. So then when I come to start my shift, all the spaces are gone.
At Annabrook's, I'm pretty sure that they know that the staff have to pay the car parking fee as like anybody else does. I think there's like staff car parking. Yeah, so I think there's staff car parking, and if that's full, they have to go into the normal car park. So they don't have enough spaces for staff. So essentially, it's £25 a day to park there.
Yeah.
So if you're on like £14 an hour, you've got to work 2 hours before you earn anything, which is ridiculous.
Yeah. So bad.
Like I've had it before where like there's been no spaces left, and I've had to take a visitor ticket because otherwise I'm going to be late. It's like, well, I need to park. So I've had to take a visitor ticket, and then it's cost me £14 to leave the car park again.
Yeah.
But otherwise, you pay £5 a month for a permit, and it's £1.60 a day. But what they're doing now is we're all having to reapply for our permits. And I put Gloucester down as my main base, which it is. So I'm hoping I'll get one because it's like, 10, 12 miles away?
Yeah.
So I'm hoping I'll get one. But they're putting the parking up to £2 a day, which means if you're there 5 days a week, that's £40 a month just to park at work just to go to work.
It's nuts, isn't it?
So yeah, I don't know, but I mean, I can get like a bus, but then getting the bus back, especially like at night from Gloucester, is not fun at all.
Do you have something like a park and ride?
Yeah, but it stops like before my shift finishes, and there's a shuttle bus as well. And the last bus is at 7:30, but then your shift doesn't finish till 7:45. So like you can get it there, but you can't get it back.
Yeah,
and there's like all these posters around trying to get people to use it, and it's like, well, have you thought about why people aren't using it? It's because they can't get back.
Yeah. There's a big thing about congestion charge in Cambridge now kicking off. £5 a day. And if you live in Cambridge, you still got to pay it.
Everywhere soon.
That's mad.
We're right on the outskirts, so it's like if they put the camera in a certain position, it would cost us £5 to go to Tesco's half a mile away, and then back in again, basically, because they charge you when you come back in. So because we live in Cambridge, we're gonna have to come in anyway. So if I go sourcing, that's essentially I've got to pay £5 to go sourcing.
Oh my God.
And they say it's a congestion charge, but it's for everything, motorbikes as well. So that's not causing congestion. And it's not an emissions thing because they're charging electric cars for it and all. So yeah, they're in hot water at
It's
the
a
moment.
money-making scheme, isn't it?
The Labour Party in the city.
It's a money-making scheme for the council, isn't it?
Well, make the bus service good, excellent, exceptional, and then people will accept it.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, unless you're, outside a city area, big city areas, like London, Birmingham, Manchester, whatever, the bus service just aren't good enough for what people need to do now.
No.
Yeah, I bus everywhere.
Do you?
Do you?
Yeah, I'm quite lucky. I've got a bus that literally just comes down here, and that's connected to most of the the towns, and we've got like a ticket where you can go all around the area, so it's pretty good. Yeah. But I only bus like in town like 2 or 3 days, or because my dad's now retired, like when he's going out, I say, oh, can you drop me off, or can you do, so I kind of I don't rely on him because I can always get a bus, but like I'm quite lucky. The bus service is all right. And when I lived in Manchester, it was just Stagecoach, and everywhere was like all connected at once. It was brilliant. So I didn't really need to drive in Manchester either. So it's like, but if you go a little bit further out into the rural area, that's it. You're kind of screwed a little bit.
Yeah, Stagecoach are here. They're supposed to be every 10 minutes, but it's 20 minutes one time, 5 minutes another. 3 lining up for one bus stop. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I know.
Terrible,
we've got Stagecoach here, and there's a couple of services which are quite good. They're every 10 minutes, but all the rest of them are like half an hour to an hour.
Yeah.
So it's just no good, really.
No. Right, should we leave it there? We've ranted about buses now.
Yeah. Bloody bus wankers.
That's right, bus wankers. Right. There's no call next week because it's bank holiday. So
oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Third one of the month. So yeah, thanks for joining, and I'll send a message out. Right. It'll be the week after.
Yeah.
Okie doke.
Right. See you guys soon.
I'll see you guys all later then. I'm going to the car now.
Later.
See you later. Bye.
Thanks, guys. See you soon.
No problems. Bye.
Bye.